Hi everyone, good morning. I hope you're able to hear me.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so let me open my data factory. Yeah, I'm there here. So I'm just going to create one new branch first. I'm just giving a data flow. Let's create it. So till last session, we talked about data ingestion. So data ingestion, we are just going to just dump the data as it is from the source to target, mostly. And if the data source is a database, then you may go for filtering and you may go for taking required columns by writing a SQL statements. But when it comes to a data flow, the data flow is going to be used for a transformation. Data flows are used to do the transformation. The second stage of your data engineering is known as a data transformation. So we are going to do the transformation. How can we do it? Whatever I'm going to show with the data flow, just for knowledge, I'm going to take you through because not even 5% is using in the market. So in place of this data flow, concentrate on the data bricks. If you don't concentrate on the data flow, no worries for me. But if you don't concentrate on the data bricks, then I'm sure you don't even get a job. So data bricks is much more important. Okay, so but if the business requirement, for some reason, if the client is interested to do the transformation with the data flow or with the data factory, then there will be no data bricks, there will be only data flow. So many limitations are there because in my current project, they designed the data flow, they designed the transformation with the data flow. Of course, we are migrating from the data flow to Databricks. Initially, they thought data flow is suitable, but later they realized data flow is not suitable, Databricks only is suitable. Okay, so but anyhow, data flow will be used to do the data transformations. So data flow will be used to do the transformation, and it is a code-free ETL tool. We don't need to write a code. No code is required. It's a UI. It's a user interface. We can use it for doing a data transformation. So data flow is used to read the data from the various data sources and is used to load the data into the target. So how exactly it is going to be there? And when we use this data flow, we need to have a cluster. So this data flow is designed on top of the Spark. Okay, so Spark is the origin of your data processing. Just imagine. And Microsoft imported this or adopted this Spark technology and they designed the data flow. In the same way, a Databricks is also is a company and they have the product name also is a Databricks. Okay, so the founders of this Spark started a company called Databricks. Okay, because there are many reasons are there. I'm not going to give all these reasons at this point of time. At the time of Databricks, I'll give a clear picture why Databricks is there and why data flows and others. So on top of the Spark only it is going to run. So we need to have a cluster. So cluster means collection of nodes or collection of systems. If you have a single system, that is a single system or monolithic system. But if you have a multiple systems connected together, we can call it as a cluster. Okay, so we can call it as a cluster, something like this. All the systems are going to be interconnected. So I'm going to talk more in detail about all this stuff at the time of Spark. Okay, so if you don't know the Spark, then you cannot understand the Databricks, because architecture is same when you go for Databricks or when you go for Dataflow. And when it comes to the Dataflow, you don't even create a cluster. You're just going to start it. It will take care about it. Okay, so many things by its own is going to be taken care. So to practice with the Dataflow, I'm just going to create a new Dataflow. Just observe. Df underscore filter I'm taking for time being. So to work with this one, to work with the Spark, generally I say cluster is required. Cluster should be up and running. So how we can start the cluster in the Dataflow is there is a switch button. This is for development. At the time of development, you are going to use this. So you need to start Dataflow debug. This is going to be available for 2 hours, I guess, 2 hours or 1 hour if you don't use it. Okay, so if you use it, it is going to be available for more time. Just switch on this, then you can see. Debug time to live. If you don't use it, it is going to be live for 1 hour. If you use it, then it is going to be available. Okay, so region, auto resolve, and compute size, I'm just taking a small. Do not go for, you do not have any control to choose it because this is for development purpose. So when it is development purpose, it is going to be by default, is going to be small compute. And if I don't use this cluster for 1 hour, it is going to be terminated automatically. So right after completion of your practice with the data flow, make sure to stop this data flow debug. Make sure to stop this cluster. Let's say, for example, 1 hour you practiced. Okay, 1 hour you practiced and you forgot to stop it. You went for a break or something. And you came back after 2 hours. Then 1 hour you're going to charge additionally. 1 hour you practiced, 1 hour it is an ideal, total 2 hours charges. This is a little cost. For 1 hour, it will go more than, I'm not sure, it will go for more 50 or something is there. Okay, so be careful when you're doing a practice with the data flow. If you really do practice, then you can do it. Okay, so otherwise you do not do that. Make sure to stop it. So because of that reason, they have given ideal time is 1 hour. But if you go for the same thing with the data breaks, you can specify even 10 minutes also. You have a feasibility. But here by default, there is a 1 hour. Less than 1 hour is not possible. That is what I'm saying here. Let's say hit OK. Let it start. Give me a minute, I'll be back. I'm back. So since I'm using this preview experiences on, the look and feel may differ if you switch off this.
When we will work on data flow activities, we need to start the data flow ticket.
You need to.
I start data flow ticket. Enable.
Your voice is a little disturbance.
And when we work on data flow activity, we need to enable data flow debug.
Yes. For development, you have to.
And yeah, UAT
Okay,
and
with
test. UAT and testing.
whatever it is. Whatever for UAT testing, you don't go for data factory, right? You're always going to do the development with only dev, not with UAT and prod. You're pushing code from your repository to your UAT and from repository to production. Okay, so let me take you through that. The very first transformation I'm going to take, that is filter transformation. So filter transformation will be used to filter the data. If I take an employee, and if you wanted to take only department number equals to 10, then I can take it. So I can apply a filter, only restriction of the data that is going to be happen with the filter transformation. So while creating it, what options are available? I'm going to talk about all those options so that you can understand. So when you go for data flow, we required source and target. Whenever you're going for data flow, source is required and sink is required. So sink is nothing but your destination or target. In between that, you can have a transformations. So depends on your requirement, you can have a various transformations here. Now let me add the source. Let me add the source. Add a source. Now I'm just going to say this source is SRC employee. And you can take whatever the source you wanted to take it. Okay, so both I'm going to take you through, like I'll take a ADLS Gen 2 and a SQL Server, Azure SQL Server. So these two I'm going to take it. And you can specify the output stream name and source types we're having here are two different types of options. One is dataset, another is inline. In the yesterday session, in the interview or discussion, we talked about can we read the data from the Oracle systems with Dataflow. If I take this inline, there is no connectivity for Oracle, but there is a connectivity for SQL Server. There is no connectivity for Oracle. They have given connectivity for only SQL Server. But you need to check, is there a feasibility by using the dataset? Basically, with the dataset, we have a connectivity with Oracle. We can connect to your Oracle system by having a dataset. In that way, you can bring the data into the data flow. Okay, I'm sure about it. There is an option, but I'm sure there is no option for Oracle. Maybe in the future, we may get it. So data set, if we take, what happens, or when we can go for data set and when we can go for inline. Let's say, for example, I have a 10 data flows. All these 10 data flows are using the same table or same set of data. Same set of data is getting used. In that particular case, you can create a one data set. You can create one data set and you can use the data set across all these 10 different parts, 10 different data flows, so that we can reduce the effort. So if you feel there is a reusability of the data, then go and create a data set and use the data set across the data flows. And let's say I have a 10 data flows. I have a 10 data flows, but every data flow is using a different data set. Every data flow is required a different data set. In that case, if you create a 10 data sets, it's going to kill your development effort. At the same time, there will be too many data sets. Creating too many data sets is not recommended. We need to reduce as many as. Okay, so if you have this kind of situation, I recommend you to go with inline. I recommend to go with the inline. So if you go with the inline, you are not going to create a data set. It's like a view. Okay, it's like a view, we can take it. So that is what I'm just trying to say as part of this. Data set and inline. If data set is getting used multiple times, then create a data set. If data set is getting used only for one time, then no need to create a data set, we can use inline. So that we need to specify. And filter transformation will be used to filter the data. Let me take here, I'm just going to take the data from the data lake storage Gen 2, ADLS Gen 2, I'm going to take it. Let's go with the inline. So if you are interested, just try for with the data set. I'm not going to show you with the data set. And then inline data types are there here. Inline data set types. I have a Azure related connectors. You can see. And database related Hive is there, SAP CDC is there, Snowflake V2, SQL Server, and files, Avro files, common data model, Excel, JSON files, REST API. Okay, so there are whatever the connectors are there, those connectors only is going to be possible. If you try for Oracle, it is not available. And ODBC, no ODBC. Even if there is a ODBC, we can connect to Oracle, but ODBC also is not available. So that means by using inline, we cannot connect to your Oracle systems. So I'm just going to take my file is a delimited text. My file is a delimited text file. So I'm going to take you through the multiple files, even Parquet files also I'm going to show you. So I'm going to take a delimited file. Then it is asking a link service. If you go with inline, if you go with the inline, it is going to ask what is the inline dataset type. You have to specify the file type here. You have to specify the file type, and then link service details you have to give it. Link service I am already having with the ADLS Gen 2. With the ADLS Gen 2, I'm already having the link service. I'm just going to take that. Just take the link service underscore ADLS Gen 2. And skip line count. If you wanted to skip anything, you can just skip it, but I'm not going to skip. Just leave it as it is. I'm just taking the data from this employee. Okay, so when the moment I go to the next option, we have a various options here, right? Settings is there. Options are there. And then projection. These three are important for us. In the settings, I'm going to specify the connectivity details. In the options, we'll see what options are available. Let's go to the options. And you have to specify where exactly your file is available. So here also we are having a file and wildcard file path and file. You can have it here. And file path, I wanted to specify when you choose the file, and wildcard, you have to specify accordingly. So here we have a files in the data files, an input folder. Inside input, I'm just going to take a employee.csv. You can browse it. Let me check is there file or not. Data files. input folder. Okay, I need to upload it. You can also upload from here. Let me remove them. I have an employee.csv file. So I'm just going to browse that. Data files, input folder, employee.csv. And this file is having the header. The first row is going to have a header. So you have to specify somewhere here, first row as header. While creating a data set also, you use to specify all these options, where exactly your file is available that we specified. And is first row is having a header or not, that also we specified at the time of creating a data set, if you remember. In the same way, even if you go with the inline also, it is going to ask you all these details. So let's check this checkbox and go to the projection. Whenever you wanted to do the transformation, we required column names, or we can say structure. So structure is required. If you don't have a structure, then you cannot apply the transformation, because transformation we are going to apply based on the columns. But data ingestion we just dumped. So since it was dumped, we did not apply anything. We did not require any column names. But if I wanted to apply a transformation, then definitely you require a schema. So you have to import the schema from the file. You have to import the schema from the file if it is a file. And if it is a database, then you have to take the schema from the database. Okay, so that is what I'm just going to use this import schema. When you use this import schema, since it is a file, depends on the availability of the data, the schema is going to be decided by your data factory. We don't need to worry about it. Most of the times it is going to take care. And if at all, if somewhere is not getting as expected, then you can change the data type. Now let me show you here. I'm just going to import the schema. Just leave it and everything and hit on import. Now just observe, you're taking data from file system. Okay, so employee number is coming as a short data type. It's like an integer. Employee name string, job is string, MGR is string, but this is not a string. I wanted to take this MGR, this as a short, because it is not giving as expected. If you're sure about it, you can change the data type here. And hire date is a data type, salary, commission. Salary is double, it is fine, but commission is also a double, you have to take it. And department number is fine. So 3 columns are not coming data types as expected. Your MGR.
What is short?
Short is nothing but an integer.
Okay.
Okay, so integer you'll be having 4 bytes, but short maybe 1 or 2 bytes are there.
Do you have any document for this data type?
No, do not concentrate more on the data types.
Okay.
Okay, it's a basic only. Okay, so instead of that, you can have a different things. Here itself we have it, right? So simply I wanted to say, generally for numbers, we'll be having a short int. Okay, and we have a short int also. Basically, if you go for SQL Server, short int or some tiny int is there. Tiny is there, but not sure here. This will be for integers, and we have a float. Not sure float, but double is there for numbers. And decimal also will be there if I'm correct. Let me show you here in the drop down. So this is the number you can see. Here itself they have given integer is a number. Short is a short number. Okay. And long is there. That is also for number. Okay. These three will be the numbers. Okay. If you see the labels, you can understand. String is for ABC, you can see. And Boolean is just cross and a tick mark, the true or false. On date, you can see the calendar. Timestamp, you can see the date and time. On short, you can see number short. A double is decimal places. Float is decimal places and floating point. And rest of them, you can just leave it. You got my point, right?
Yes, Bhaskar.
Okay. Now, let me change the data type for MGR as short. I can take it. And commission, I'm going to take as a double. You can change the data type here itself. And once you're done, then you just close this. Now you can see the data here, how data is getting displayed. Okay, so this is coming from the source. You can visualize the data here also. And once this is done, then I wanted to take the target also, right? So target you can take at any point of time. My requirement is I wanted to take the department details or department number equals to 10. Create a data flow to load the specific data. So that means only the people who are working in the department number 10, I wanted to get it. So employee.csv file we have taken. I'm going to load the data into the target by applying a filter transformation. Let's go here. Let's add a transformation. In the plus, you can have a various transformations here. Multiple inputs and multiple outputs transformations I'm having here. And schema modified transformations I'm having. Formatted transformations are there. Row modified transformations. And important is sync. So in our case, row modified transformation is filter transformation. So just add this filter transformation here. When the moment you select it, it is asking. When the moment you select it, it is asking. Incoming stream automatically, since you connected from the source employee, it is taking the same incoming stream. And here you have to write the filter condition. You can write the filter condition. So condition means as an expression. You can write an expression. So when you write an expression, you can use the column names. You can use the operators. Okay, and you can use functions. So many things you can use it here. Okay, you can use the variables also. So here how we can write an expression, let me show you. Let's go to this place and hit on open expression builder. Open expression builder. And now this is the expression builder window where we can write your expressions. So to write this, we can use the functions, input schema parameters. Many things are there here. All the operators you can see here. If I wanted to go for plus in the activity level, we do not have a plus symbol. You have to use add or sub is there. Add only, if I'm correct. And if I wanted to go for equals, in the activity level, we have a equals function. You have come across it. If I wanted to go for greater than, we have a greater function. But here we have a symbols. Okay, so this is little easier when you compare with that, when you write the expressions. And functions will be there, you can choose the functions. Just observe. If I take the functions definitions are available. You can see the examples also they have given. Every function definition and examples they have given. Depends on your requirement, you have to think about it. How we can write the expression, it's all depends on the situation, you can do it. And you have to spend some time if you wanted to, if you're interested to know about these functions and expressions. There is a expression reference documentation. You just hit on it. All the functions are available here. You can see expression list. You can just spend some time if you're interested. Many functions you may come across in your experience. Okay, so if you take lower function, most of us are aware of this. They have given an example also. Okay, so apps function, all the functions they have given with letter wise they have given. You can see apps. So lower function, what it is doing? It converts all the characters into lowercase. They have given an example also. Even you don't need to travel to here. Here itself we can see. If I say lower, then when the moment I move the cursor here, we can see example also in the tooltip. So like this, we can write an expression. Now, you can also have an input schema, means from the input stream, what columns are there, because column names also we required. So I wanted to take the department number equals to 10. If I wanted to test here itself, is my condition working or not? You can also refresh here. But it is always going to be time taking process when I compare with the Databricks. In Databricks, it is very simple. Then and there we can execute and see the result. But here it is not that much flexible. Okay, you can see wherever there is a department number 10, it is going to give a tick mark here. If department number is 30, then cross mark is there here. And when there is a department number 10, condition is matching, so it is giving a tick mark. So tick mark means it is a true. Just leave it and hit on save and finish. Now expression came into this filter on. And let's close this.
Bhaskar, I have one question.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, when we're writing expression, it is showing data flow expression builder. Okay.
Okay.
But when we are doing in our activity level, so there it was showing pipeline expression builder. So this data flows is a part of pipeline, right? Why it is showing the data flow expression builder here?
Dataflow is not part of basically because they have a different kind of approach here. Okay. And one more thing is Microsoft. I don't know whether they may forget or something. Okay. So if you observe, if you take a best example is char index function.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So SQL Server is the name. And when it comes to the data factory, it is the index of. When it comes to the data flow, it is INSTR. They're not following the same naming standard. If they give same naming standard, that will be easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all depends on their intention. They kept the naming standard, if I'm correct.
Mhm.
And one more thing is this is for doing a data transformation, right? So, and when it comes to the data ingestion side activity level, we are doing majorly on the metadata side.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe there may be some conflict on the functions and syntax. So because of that reason, maybe they come up with a different thing.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, but when you go for SSIS, we'll be having same only.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Here it is different.
Okay.
Now I'm able to see the data here, depart number 10. Now let me load this data into the target. Here itself I can see, and I don't even need to load the data into the target for practicing, because my intention here is how you're going to write the expression is more important. But I'm just going to load it. Let's take a sync. The sync is the destination. And I'm just going to say sync employee. Here also I'm going to take the inline or delimited text. Link service is same. Go to the settings. So here we need to specify the path of the target or data files. Inside data files, I have a output folder. Inside output folder, I wanted to keep employee underscore filter. So why I'm keeping this folder name, you can understand. And first is going to be header. Okay, so when you use the data flow, it is going to give a part files. We don't give the target as a file name. We don't give the target as a file name when you use the data flow. That is not recommended. You can give the data in the form of single file, but if you keep the data in a single file, then you don't get a parallelism. So for that reason, basically, the target you are going to have a Parquet file, but here I'm just taking a delimited to show how data is there. But inside your target, you're going to have a part files. So let's see how exactly it is going to be there. I'm just going to give a folder name. I'm not giving the name of the file. Let's close this one. Now, if I wanted to run this data flow, you cannot run this data flow directly. To run this, you need to have a pipeline. Save this. Now let's go to the pipeline, a new pipeline, PL underscore filter. So here you have to choose the activity called data flow activity. So by seeing this itself, you can understand copy data is just copy. But when it comes to the data flow, you're shaping the data. Data is not going to come, or data is not going to go in the same shape. So it will go for different shape. Let me say it is a filter. Let's take the source settings. In the source settings, I'm just going to take a data flow name, that is df underscore filter, and runs on Azure IR. And compute size, if you wanted to increase the compute, you can go for that. For practicing, do not go for this, because this is going to run on the cluster. So since it is going to run on the cluster, do not go for max size or different size. So that is one thing. And when you run this data flow, it is going to take little time, is because it has to spin up the cluster, then it will go for running of your job. Okay, so starting of the cluster is going to take little time. And once you have done this, then you just debug it.
Bhaskar, one more question.
Mhm,
When we are doing the sync, there we have seen dataset, inline, and cache.
mhm.
So what is cache here? So
We'll talk about it.
okay.
Now, if you go and see the data in the target, containers, data files, output directory, employee underscore filter, you can see. So part files you're going to get. So name of the file, basically we don't give it. The reason is every day you're doing a transformation. Every day you're going to load the data. So when you load the data on every day, it is not going to append the data to the file. It is going to add a part files. Okay, so multiple part files will be there. But when you read the data from this particular place, you have to provide the folder name only. Especially you're going to get to understand why we are going to give the folder name. At the time of Databricks, you will get a clarity. Okay, so when you read the data from the source, we are going to give the folder name. We are not going to give the name of the file in the Databricks. So here also the same thing, because this is going to run on the Spark cluster. So for that reason, we are going to give the name of the folder, not the name of the file. Okay, so if they ask, can we keep all the data into single file? Yes, we can keep it. Somewhere you can find. Just that. This is compression type. No. Yeah, in the sync. Let me show you. That option is there. Yeah, in the file name X option, you can find it. So default is going to be part files. And if you wanted to name file, not this one, name file and or partition here. Output to single file. You can take these options if they wanted, if they ask in the interview, can we keep in a single file? You can keep it. But what is the use of it? Okay, so basically we are going to take the default option. We are going to have a part files. Okay, so that is just I wanted to say. And you would try from your side to apply these transformations. So I wanted to get the employees whose name starts with S. Just try. Okay, so there is a function called starts with. You can just search. Starts with function is there. And substring function you can use in order to compare that. In the same way, ends with the T, you can try. There is a function called ends with. Just try from your side. And start with S and ends with T. Just combine these two conditions as a one. Okay, so I hope you people can do it, right?
Yeah, yes, boss.
Okay, just try. The next transformation is conditional split transformation. So conditional split transformation depends on your condition. It is going to split the data into multiple directions. So now this time I'm going to take the Parquet files here. Okay, so last time we have seen how we can read the data from the CSV file. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how we can read the data from the Parquet files. So same to same, only the difference between your filter and conditional split is filter takes only single input and gives single output. But when it comes to conditional, you can have a one input and multiple outputs. Okay, so we can split it. We can capture the data which is not matched to your condition. Let's say you have specified three conditions here. And if all these three conditions are failed, you can capture that particular kind of records into the default output. We are going to have it. If you wanted to capture it, you can capture it. But when you go for filter, you cannot capture unmatched conditions records. Whereas in the conditional split, we have it. Okay, so let's see how exactly we're going to use this conditional split, and it is also is important. So here I wanted to keep the three targets here, employee underscore 10. All department number 10 employees will go into the employee 10 folder, and department number 20 details will go to the employee 20 folder, and so on. Let's try to do that. So let me create a data flow. df underscore conditional split. Let's add a source, but before that I need to keep the file called employee.parquet file in my source. I'm just keeping it here. src employee. Let's take an inline, and now I'm just going to take this as data set type is Parquet. Inline data set type is Parquet file, and link service is same. Let's go to the options here. We don't need to specify the header is there in the first row because it is a Parquet file, and I'm just going to give the name of the container data files. Input. Inside input I have a employee.parquet. Let's go to the projection and import the scheme. I don't need to change the data types because the data types are going to bound to the Parquet files. Now you can see it. Even there is no option to change it because they're all right data types. Let's close this one. You can see the data here. I'm just going to add the conditional split transformation.
On the top.
Yeah, here. Now I'm just going to say, just leave it as it is. I'm going to say DPT number 10. You can write the expression same way. Department number equals to 10. Save and finish. So if any condition which is not matched, then you can capture into the default, but I'm just going to take out this default. I wanted to add, this is department number equals to 20 and department number equals to 30. This is 30. Okay, so I hope you're understanding these conditions, right? It's just simple conditions. Let's close this. So simple depends on the condition. You're splitting the data to the multiple streams. So for 10, I wanted to add a sync 1. I'm just going to take a delimited text. I wanted to show the data by opening the file. So I'm just taking a text file here. And link service is ADLS. Let's go to the settings, data files. output folder. Inside output folder, you have a employee underscore 10. So first as a header I'm taking because it is a CSV I'm taking, right? So I'm just taking that. Let's close this. In the same way, I'm going to do it for 20 also. Delimited text, link service, data files, employee underscore 20. First as a header. Let's do the same thing for your department number 30. A delimited text file, link service, a data files, and this time it is a 30. First as a header. Let's close this. So it is going to split the data here, right? So in order to run this, we need to go for pipeline. A new pipeline, PL underscore conditional split. Just take the data flow here. So let me take the conditional split. That's all. Save all.
Bhaskar,
Yeah.
do we have any option for making it dynamic? Like I wanted to create a separate file for every department wise. Suppose I have 10 departments.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to create it 10 files. I don't want it to make it static that I will write for every 10 departments, I need to write condition department equals to 1, then I need to pass.
You can try, but you need to have a for each activity because for every time you have to iterate it.
Yeah.
Okay. You can try, but I don't recommend to spend a lot of time with the data flow.
Just for practice.
Yeah. So you can take like, the department numbers. Okay. That numbers you have to give it to for each. Inside for each, you have to keep this data flow. For every department, you have to iterate it.
Then do we require a conditional split even?
In that case, you don't need, you can go for filter transformation.
Okay. Okay, we'll try.
Now let me run this one. Now it got succeeded. And see your outputs. Depart number 10, depart number 20, and 30. Let's say, for example, if you run on the next day, your file is not going to overwrite. Your file is not going to overwrite. It is going to add one more new part file. Let me rerun it again. Now, if you go and see your target, inside this 2-part files are there. Okay, so it is not going to have a 1-part file. If you have a same file name, it is going to overwrite. So we don't give the name of the file is single. I mean to say, we don't fix the name of the file. We have a feasibility, but we don't keep it. We're always going to give the folder. Inside the folder, you're going to have a part files.
Inside the part file, is there any data?
Data will be there. Okay. So since it is having same data, you can see the same data here. Okay. And you try from your side. This is an exercise. You have an employee.csv file, and I wanted to keep the data year-wise, employee underscore 2021, employee underscore 2022, and employee underscore 2023. So 3 targets, so just try from your side. Can you try? You have to use the year function.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you can get it.
Yeah, we'll try.
Okay, so I'm stopping here. So tomorrow I'm going to talk about derived column transformation and select transformation, aggregate. Max to max this weekend. By this weekend, we are going to come out of this data factory. Okay, so just practice whatever I'm saying. That is more and more enough for Dataflow. Do not spend much time with the Dataflow. I recommend to practice more on the Databricks side. So if it is a Databricks side, it is going to help like anything. Okay, so we are going to see that very soon. And once you've stopped your practicing with the Dataflow, make sure to stop your Dataflow debug. Otherwise, additionally, 1 more hour is going to be charged. Okay. Any question before stopping?
Yes, Bhaskar.
Yeah, please.
Bhaskar, we talked about tumbling window
Uh-huh.
last week, that it will capture a new window whenever a new file is arrived.
Yes.
So which is less chargeable, using a until function or tumbling window? Because if I use a schedule refresh with until function, so whenever a new file is arrived, it will capture.
That is
and
different scenario, right?
Yeah, but my solution, my expectation is
here-
whenever a file is there,
Uh-huh.
we need to load it. So
But one time it will execute, right? Daily
Yeah.
once only until activity waits. We can trigger only one time. Once you trigger, it will wait continuously till the file is available. Once the file is available, it will be completed. Again, it will go for next iteration in the next day if you have a schedule like that. But this one is not like that. For every minute, it's going to have a separate run.
Okay.
Okay, so tumbling window automatically will be more because every 5 minutes is going to run. Separate window will be run. If the file is falling under that window, that files will read into the target.
Okay.
Because that's what I told, like when you practice with tumbling window, make sure to stop the trigger or
At a wait
otherwise,
condition.
yeah, that is what it is. You have to stop it. If you stop the trigger, then you don't charge. Okay, then I'm stopping here.
Also, I
And
have one question
Yeah,
regarding
please.
event-based trigger. So actually, we tried event-based trigger.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but we don't know, I mean, whether the trigger is started or not, because in SSIS, for in SSIS in agent service, okay, we can see whether the job is in process or whether it is failed or it is in so whatever it may be. So we can see all the status, right? For
Yeah, we can see, right? We can see in the event
even
storage triggers.
yeah, but we don't see it. I mean, we done all the changes.
No,
as
definitely
per-
can see.
Mhm.
Definitely we can see. After seeing that, then you can see the pipeline. The pipeline will be triggered for this trigger name.
Okay.
There may be something is missing. You just try. It is always, even for me also, is always getting confusion that, but you can do it.
Yeah, we'll try today.
Okay.
If I question, then
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
think with you, Master.
Okay then.
Okay. Thank you.
Bhaskar, I have another question.
Yeah, please.
I wanted to share my screen. If you want,
Yeah,
you can
please.
stop the recording also.